Hello and welcome to Crafts with Pastor Missy. Today we are making paper crowns. Especially we're making paper crowns that are going to look like flames, because this Sunday is Pentecost, and that's the day when the Holy Spirit came to the disciples and it was like tongues of flame flickered over their heads. And so we're going to make our crowns that kind of look like flames. But what you learn from this you can do with other colors and in other ways, and you can make any kind of crown that you want. But we're going to make flame crowns today. So what we need is really simple today. We need some paper. Now I've got scrap paper because remember, I'm still trying to use things that are just around the house. So I didn't have any colored paper, but if I did, I would use red and orange and yellow. So I'm going to be coloring my paper. So I've got my scrap paper, I've got scissors, I've got glue, and I've got something to color with, and I've got my trusty markers, which I'm going to have to get some crayons soon because these markers are not good for this, but I'm trying to use what I've got at the house like we talked about. So whatever you have to color with is great. And if you don't have anything to color with and you just have to use scrap paper or advertisements like we've done for some other things, you can use that too. It's fine. If you've got some advertisements that have some red or yellow or orange in them, use those, but whatever you use, just have fun with it, okay? So first of all, so that we have the colors that we want, we've got to color our paper. So I've actually been coloring some paper along and along over here, and I've colored some that's yellow. You can't really see, it's really, really light. And then I colored some that was red. Can you see the red color there? Yeah. And then I'm going to color some more that's orange. And I'm just doing this really fast. And so I'm just going like this, going back and forth really, 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 really fast. Now, if I want it to be a little deeper, I just go back over a little bit. There I go again. Really see how fast I'm going? And this is not the best use of a marker, truthfully, because I am using up a whole bunch of ink right now. But it's what I have. But soon, I'm going to start suggesting things for y'all to look for and maybe even buy, so we can do some other kinds of crafts together. But we're still going to do a lot of things that are just what you have around the house. Now, my crown, I happen to know that I have a big noggin. I've got a pretty good sized head. Most of you will be able to use basically 3 sheets of paper if you do it the way I make it. I have to use almost 3. You use 3. I have to use 4.5 sheets of paper to do it the same way. So basically 5 sheets of paper, even 6 if I want to mix up my colors. So you're going to see how I do it, but your crown is going to be smaller than mine because, like I said, I got a big old noggin, and your head is probably smaller than mine. So I've got my papers colored, right, that I talked to you about. So now we're going to, this is just a piece of paper. That's not going to, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not that cool. So what we need to do now is start to make the flames that we need for our flame crowns. And so I'm going to cut back and forth. You see how I'm cutting back and forth like this. Not all the way down. I'm stopping way before the bottom there. See, I'm getting lots of room. And then back and forth. It almost looks like shark's teeth, doesn't it? See how it looks slicking? And back and forth. And back. And it's okay if it's not perfect. When you cut it back, it makes it look like that. It doesn't go all the way down. That's fine. That's not going to mess it up at all. In fact, that'll make it just as good or better. So now I've got my big tall ones. These are going to be my backgrounds. I'm going to show you what this is going to look like when it's all done, because that might help. I want you to see my flame hat. I already made this one, this crown. You see it? It's a little big, but you see it? See, it's got lots and lots of flames on it. Yep. Yep. So this is sort of what it's going to look like, and you can kind of have fun with it, and maybe even make it curl a little bit, and you can have fun. But in order to get all those different layers, we've got to cut our paper to different sizes. So now we've got our big background, okay? So that's good. And actually, because of making one ahead of time, I have my third one. Because what happens is, what you do is you can take your two pieces and make sure you got your glue, remember? And you can use a glue stick or regular glue. And you glue in just the bottom part. I'll show you where I glued it. I put the glue right here. So if I were gluing on this one, I would put it right here and then bring the other one around to glue it like that. Now, that's a pretty good one. It's a little small for me, so I add another one. But for most of you, probably you just need this big, okay? I'm gonna set this off to the side up here and leave it there. Now, if I wanted to, remember, because I got a big head, I could add another one off. I can't show you because there's not enough room, but I could show you. I could put it right there. Okay, so here's the first part, our first layer. Now, right now, put that back on and keep it. Now, I started to cut some. You see it's smaller, right? So what I did was I took my sheet, and this one's red right now. I took my sheet and I cut it in half. So just like I'm doing with my yellow, I'm going to cut my yellow in half. Now, this is what you do with it. Then you're just doing the same thing you did before, but you're doing it with only half as much. You're cutting back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And I'm cutting a little further down this time, but still it's about 1 inch from the edge. Maybe a little less sometimes. Just be real careful. Watch your fingers when you're cutting. And if you're not supposed to be using scissors, get a grown-up or an older brother or sister to help you, okay? Don't do this on your own if you're supposed to be careful about that. Now, my other one you saw didn't have any yellow, but I want some yellow on these. Actually, because I want layers, I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to cut these down just a little bit. No, I'll just do it like this. No, I'm going to cut it down just a little bit. So now when I cut back and forth, I'm cutting back and forth in a smaller amount. See, just making shark's teeth, just like we talked about before. Let me turn it over so you can see it with color. Okay, so now I had my biggest size, my half page, and I cut from the halves, my next biggest size, and then remember I cut a little bit off, so this one now is not quite as high as that, so you can see all the different sizes. Now, if you've got pretty bright colored paper, if you've got red and orange and yellow that's really bright, it'll show up much more. But remember, trying to use what's around the house, so this is what we got. And my yellow marker obviously was about to give out. So now, extra paper out of the way. We've got our big one that we already glued together. So now, this is easy right here. So we're going to take our red that we've got. Okay. We're just going to glue it on there. I'm going to glue it across the very bottom, so my glue is going to go right across the very bottom right here. Now, I made the mistake of, I thought my glue was going across, and it had started to hit it had gotten all thin, and it was hitting the edge, and I didn't know it. And so make sure that you got glue all the way across there, and you can feel it, okay? Well, hopefully you won't get your fingers too messy, but, all right, put it on there. And put it on there. I'm going to let them overlap just a little bit, so I'm going to glue it down. All right, so now I've got 2 layers, right? See the 2 layers? Now wait, where's my little yellows? There's my little yellows. And now I've got to do it one more time. Now if I wanted to, I could wait a little bit. But if you're using the glue stick, it's not going to make it probably won't make it too wet. Just make sure that it's on there all the way. And then put a little bit right there so it'll overlap, just like we talked about. And there we go. Now it's got our 3 layers, okay? Got our 3 layers like we talked about. And now we just glue, we put our glue right there, and we'll glue it, and we'll have our crown. Now, again, I made this one a little smaller, so it's not gonna fit me very good at all. The other one I accidentally made a little too big. Now, oh look, remember what I told you about how sometimes it doesn't glue down right? Look at that. So, let me make sure. Every now and then it just doesn't wanna. All right, now we're good. Now, put a whole lot of, and I'm gonna go up here because I know I've got enough. It'll go up. And then, so I put it all the way along there. And now, squishing it together, right? And now here it is. There's my flame crown. So, there you are. There's your flame crown. And what it reminds us of, our pretty crown of flames, is reminds us that the Holy Spirit came to disciples to give them the strength and the empowering to be able to reach people everywhere in the world. That is what Jesus promised them, that they wouldn't be alone and that the Holy Spirit of God would be with them. And so we remember on Pentecost, which is tomorrow, that the Holy Spirit is with us, that God never abandons us, and that we are loved. And speaking of love, I love you. We all miss you and hope that you are doing well. For those of you who are part of Terrific Tuesday or Jennings United Methodist Church, and for those of you who aren't, we love you too, even though we don't know each other. That's part of what it means to be one and to love one another like we're called to. So you all take good care. Hope you enjoyed making our crowns today. And we are going to be trying something new in a couple weeks. We're going to try to make some paints out of spices. So get ready and watch on the Facebook page to see what kind of spices we might need. Okay? So have a really good rest of your weekend and know that you are loved and that you are cared for and that you are amazing, and we are all keeping you in prayer. Take good care. Bye. Okay? All right. See you later. Bye-bye.